right, everybody, welcome. Welcome. My name is Stephen Michael Miller. I'm here with Strongbrook and Limitless, and so glad to have you here. Those of you here that are in the room, obviously, welcome. Thanks for being here, as well as everyone online. If you're here, first of all, I want to say thank you. One thing I tell people all the time is that your time is your most valuable resource. So the fact that you're spending the next 15 hours with me, I'm just kidding. The next hour with me here is something I am very, very grateful for. One thing I will recommend, if you haven't already, make sure that you grab a pen and paper, because there's some things that you're probably going to be thinking about as we're speaking that you'll want to take some notes on. I want you to pay attention to that inspiration, because those are things that you'll want to make sure that you act upon later. So go ahead and get out that pen and paper and get ready. I want to talk about a few things, but before I get to some of the meat and potatoes here, I want to start with a story. I want to talk about a little bit of where I came from. And I learned a couple things when I was younger that I have really been able to draw from later on in my adult life. When I was young, I was poor. How many of you have ever been poor? Raise your hands. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Okay, think about it for a second. Now, poor is a relative term, and it means different things for everybody, so I want to define what poor means for me. Poor for me meant a lot of different things, but really kind of the biggest thing for me, it meant that we were on welfare for the majority of my childhood. Both state welfare and church welfare. I know what it feels like to go to the grocery store and pull out your little packet of food stamps and pay that way. It's kind of embarrassing. At least it was for me as a kid. I didn't want people to see me doing those kind of things. Poor for me also meant when I was about 7 or 8 years old, my father took me to learn the family trade. And this family trade, I put in quotes, air quotes here, because it wasn't something either that I was very proud of. That was dumpster diving. That was often how we put food on the table. Now, I tell you these things just to kind of set up the story here a little bit and help you understand a little bit of my background. We lived in an old home. It was over 100 years old, this home. And in this home, there was this old oak tree right in the backyard. And this oak tree was huge. It was large. And I remember this old oak tree, and I remember as a kid, I wanted nothing more than to build a tree house. I wanted this tree house so bad I could taste it. And I want you to think about this for a second. Has there ever been any goal, anything in your life that you wanted so bad that you were willing to do just about anything to accomplish it? Just think about that for just a second. Well, for me, that was, get you what you want. So kind of just, the conversation was kind of just forget about it. That's dumb. Don't just forget about it. Well, as a kid, even though we were poor, my parents would often tell me, and literally almost probably every week, almost every day, I would hear my mom tell me, Stephen, you can do anything that you want. And that phrase stuck with me. And when my siblings told me, Stephen, you're dumb, you're stupid, you can't do it, there's something that lit inside of me and started burning. And I wanted to prove them wrong. But more importantly, I wanted to prove to myself that I could create something out of nothing, that I could actually have this treehouse, even though I knew that I couldn't go to my parents or my siblings or anyone else for it, right? So this fire started burning inside of me, and I went back outside and I started circling this tree, and I started imagining this treehouse and thinking exactly of how I wanted it. I didn't know how to do it, and I knew that I couldn't go to my mom or my dad and ask them for anything, but one day, the thought came to me, kind of like a lightning bolt. It just kind of came to me. And the thought was, Stephen, you're no stranger to dumpster diving. Why don't you just go find the materials, And it's interesting, sometimes in life, here's one of the lessons, right? Sometimes in life, our biggest trials, our biggest, the hardest things that we go through can provide us with the resources that we need to move forward and create things differently than we've ever had before. Tony Robbins actually says something very specific. He says, whenever you lack the resources, it's time to become resourceful. Right? If you don't have the money, I didn't have the money to go out and buy the wood and the nails, but I could be resourceful. I turned to what I knew. So I lived on these old city blocks. These were brick roads, and in between these city blocks, we had these dirt alleyways that ran right through these old city blocks. And on these dirt alleyways, we had really big dumpsters. Okay, here where I am in Utah, we have small little dumpsters, for each house. But there we had these big ones that would service 3 or 4 different homes. So I remember as a kid, I would go up and down this alleyway, and I started to search for materials. And I found some old wooden pallets that people had discarded. I remember one time I found an old wood door. It was an exterior wood door, so it was solid, really good construction material. One day I remember I was looking, and I found an old waterbed that someone had discarded. And I don't know if anyone remembers the old waterbeds or not, but my parents actually did have an old waterbed. It was gifted to us one time. But anyway, I found this old waterbed, and if you remember, most of it wasn't very good. Most of it was kind of particle board, the base of it anyway. But the parts that actually held the water bags, those big, huge water bags, there were pressure-treated 2x8s that would surround the water bags themselves, and then some plywood. So I gathered that wood. That's perfect treehouse kind of wood material. So I gathered all this wood and start collecting it, and I get to the point where I had collected enough wood, but I had no screws or nails or wherewith to actually put up and start building my treehouse. So I I started circling my tree again like I always did, and was looking and thinking about it. What could I do? How could I actually build this treehouse? And then the thought came to me again, Stephen, go inside of this old dilapidated garage that you guys have and clean it up and find some nails and screws. You've probably seen some in there before, so go check it out. So I did that. I went inside the house, got a broom and a dustpan, went out to my garage, and I got to work. And I can just imagine my parents kind of looking out the back door thinking to themselves, just let him go. He's cleaning, just let him keep cleaning, So I gathered up, I cleaned up as much as I could, and I organized it in, just this 9-year-old kid. And it was interesting. This home was so old. This garage was so dilapidated. I mean, the elements had really gotten to it that the once cement floor had kind of turned to dirt, and so that's how kind of it was. But I cleaned it all up, and I got to the point where I had collected a decent handful of nails and screws, so I could start my project. I went to work right away, made some steps that I cut out of some of the wood, nailed them up to the tree so I could get up into the tree first of all, and I started hoisting up wood and started building my tree house. And I'll tell you, I have never had more joy in any work, as up to that point anyway. I had never had more joy in any work that I had ever done, because to me it wasn't work. I was living my dream. I was living my passion. I was so excited. I was building my treehouse, even when everyone told me that I couldn't do that, right? And so I was just on cloud 9, and I got at it, and I was building my treehouse. And I remember I got to the point where I had run out of nails and screws, and I didn't have any left. But I had lots of wood left, and my treehouse absolutely wasn't done. So I was up in my tree one day, and I remember hearing this voice call to me, and it was the voice of my mother. And she had come out the back door, was standing in her backyard, calling to me to come down out of the treehouse. And I hurriedly got down out of the treehouse, went over to my mom, and my mom was a short, cute little lady, and 5'2" or something, and she had her hand behind her back, and she leaned over to me, and she said, "Stephen, I've got a surprise for you, but it's a secret. You can't tell your siblings." Now, I don't know if you're like me or not, but I knew that when Mom told me you can't tell your siblings, I knew it was going to be something good, So I'm excited. I'm like, okay, yeah, won't tell my siblings. And so she looks at me and she pulls this bag from out from behind her back, and she kind of unrolls this brown paper bag, and she opens it up and shows me. And inside this brown paper bag was a brand new box of 16 penny nails. Now, for the average person, that probably wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But for me, that box of 16 penny nails was the realization of my dream. That was the last step. That was the last thing that I needed to be able to accomplish my goal. For those of you that don't know construction, those are the nice nails. Those are the 3.5 inch galvanized, like the really good nails. So I threw my arms around my mom's neck, gave her a big hug and kiss, and grabbed those nails and got to work. And can happily say that I completed my project, and it was awesome. To me it was a castle. To most people it probably didn't look like much, but it did have 4 different levels, and it was exciting. And I would go up there and I would spend so much time up in my treehouse, and even adults could get up there. Like, I can't remember, it wasn't my parents, but I had some other adults of my friends that got up in that treehouse too, and it was a sturdy little treehouse. I learned some things that were really important, and I want to share some of the most important things. First of all, I learned that I was in my own way. Now, here's what I mean by that. In the beginning of the story, I told you that I knew that I couldn't go to my parents, right? I said it. I could not go to my parents and ask them for help, because why? Because we were poor, and I didn't expect, or I didn't think that they would ever be able to help me with anything, right? Well, what was the end solution to my problem? It was my mom, it was my parents. So I had a blind spot. I literally, I had a limiting belief, right? I had a belief that I couldn't go and ask my parents to help me accomplish this goal. And therefore, my goal didn't get accomplished for a long, long time, right? I mean, I kind of sped up that timeline for you just for the sake of our, of the story. But there was a long space of time in between that. I could have saved myself so much heartache, anguish, hard work, tears, whatever, had I not had that limiting belief. So my mom provided that for me. It allowed me to do something that I didn't even know that I could go to and do in the first place. So we're talking a lot about beliefs, and I'm talking about this story, and I want to tie this all together because at the end of the day, what I think we all want to do is we want to create the very best lives for ourselves. We want to create deeper connections with our loved ones, with our children, with our spouses. We want to create more health in our lives. We'd like to create better financial stability, right? These are all things I think that the majority of the world thinks about, and it weighs on them. Carson, could you go ahead and throw the slides up? And so these are the things that we're looking for. And so what I want to talk today about, in conjunction with my story here, is how we can create wealth in every aspect of our life. And at the end of the day, most people aren't creating the lives that we want. And there's a number of different reasons for it, but I want to talk about, first of all, the outlook of the average American right now. What does money look like, first of all, for the average American? Well, we know that most people don't have enough money. Okay, they're not saving enough, and even what they thought they could have, if they thought back in the day, if I could just save $1 million, I'll have enough money, right? If I could just accumulate $1 million, that'll be enough for me to go off and accomplish my dreams. Well, the reality now is at retirement, 60% of retirees have less than $25,000 saved. Now, let's pause there for just a second. Less than $25,000 at retirement means what kind of retirement? Not a very good one, right? It means that we're arriving at a place that we never wanted to be at. What it means is this journey that we're on, for most of us, ends up being completely different than what we actually wanted it to be. I want you to think for a second. What do you want your retirement to look like? Like, what do you want your retirement to look like? Not just in terms of money, but in terms of what you're doing as well. What do you want it to look like? Do you want to spend time traveling? Do you want to spend time with your children and your family? Do you want to spend time pursuing a hobby or a passion of yours? What is it that you really want to do? Get very, very clear. Most of those things are going to take money. Most of those things take some form of financial investment. And if we are ending up at retirement with less than $25,000 saved, first of all, most of us are living 20 to 30 years past retirement age, right? So we're living way past our retirement. And how far is $25,000 going to take us in retirement? Especially if we want to do some neat things, if we want to help other people, if we want to visit and spend more time with our families, it's not going to take us very far. So we're broken financially. What about relationships? Well, the sad facts are 40 to 50% of married couples in the United States divorce. I actually just heard recently that I think that just raised a little bit. I think we're over the 50% mark now. So we'll just stick with this statistic. With 40 to 50% of marriages ending in divorce, is there something that we can learn about our relationships to strengthen and solidify those more? Is there something that we can do, something that we don't know, something that we don't see, maybe a blind spot that's there, that can help us to actually create a stronger marriage or a stronger relationship? Absolutely, I think that there is, and we're going to talk about that. And what about health? For the average American here, it looks like more than 1/3, 34.9%, or 78.6 million of the U.S. adults are obese. Right? Now, none of these things are in and of themselves maybe the biggest problems in the world, right? If you don't have all the money you want, we can still be happy. If our relationships are on the rocks, we can, well, that's a hard one to say you can still be happy. You need good relationships with somebody, right? At least with yourself. Obesity, you can be overweight and you can still be happy. But the reality is for most of us, we're experiencing so many of these hitting at the same time. And we need to find some solutions. So I want to talk about this. How do we break through all these things when we're stuck? What do you think? What is the one common thing that you can go to or turn to when you're stuck? And my phone keeps on beeping, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off here for just a second. Any ideas? What do you think, Casey? You, yeah, here, if you don't mind, I'm gonna pick on you since you're here. What do you do? How do you create that breakthrough when you're stuck?
I don't know. I think the first step would be to seek someone to help you.
That's a perfect answer. I'm going to pay you later for that one. No, I'm just kidding. Absolutely, mentors, right? Having someone that has been there and done that, has gotten to where you want to go, and that can show you specifically the way. That is so important in accomplishing and accelerating our progress. Now, I want to talk about mentors here for just a second. Mentors are people that motivate, empower, navigate, teach, originate results, right? And I love this little quote here. It says, a good mentor knows, goes, and shows the way. Right? These are people that have been there and done that. People that have seen and had the success that you just haven't had yet. It's interesting to me, no matter where I travel around the world, most people feel that, okay, and this isn't maybe something that they voice, but when we have conversations, I get down deep into it, and this is what comes out. They think that because they're an adult, all of a sudden they get to know everything, or all of a sudden they should have the answers to all these different things that they've never experienced before. Well, let me just tell you real quick. I've got 7 children. My oldest is, how old is he now? 12. My oldest is 12 and my youngest is 2, okay? So we had our children in a very fast time frame. And it's crazy to me that when I had my first kid, although I became a father, I wasn't a perfect father. And now that I've got 7 kids, I'm finding out I'm still not a perfect father. Just because I became a father didn't make me a good one, right? I can learn from people that I have actually studied and understand and know how to communicate better with your children maybe, right? So having these mentors is an amazing boost in life. Now I want to talk about specifically mentorship and where we see it all the time. We see mentorship in sports. We usually don't call it mentors, we call them coaches, right? You may know who this is, and some of you may or may not, depending on your age and if you're into sports or not, but this is Michael Jordan. And Michael Jordan was one of the greatest basketball players of all time. I actually saw a video just today where they were comparing Michael Jordan with Kobe Bryant, and whether you like them both or hate them both or whatever your feelings are is neither here nor there, but I was watching this film where they would show Michael Jordan, he'd kind of post up and do this little thing where he'd come and do his fadeaway, and his leg would go a certain direction every single time, and then they would line up or layer a shot of Kobe doing the exact same shot in the exact same location with the exact same form and the exact same leg kick. Like, it was crazy. And I'm watching this and I'm like, either Kobe Bryant studied him seriously, which he probably did, or they're just like spirit twins or something. I mean, it was kind of crazy. But Michael Jordan revolutionized the game of basketball. What's neat though about Michael Jordan, above and beyond his success on the basketball court, is that Michael Jordan has done something that most athletes have never been able to do. Most athletes, when they get in, right, they get this amazing contract, they get signed, they're making millions now, and it's really exciting, whether it's the NBA or the NFL or the NHL or whatever it might be, right, or the MLB, and they make all this money, but they haven't changed their programming. And so if they got into that money and they still are running off that old programming, what happens to most of them when they get out of the professional sports? Most of them are broke, aren't they? It's so weird. You see these crazy, amazingly successful, wealthy, when it comes to financial wealth anyway, sports players that when they get injured or once they get out of the league or whatever the case is, they're all of a sudden broke. Why? Well, because they didn't have the proper mentors. One thing I love about Michael Jordan is he acknowledges his mentors. He says, other than my parents, no one had a bigger influence on my life than Coach Smith. He was more than a coach. He was my mentor, my teacher, my second father. By the way, do you know who Coach Smith was? Anybody? Coach Smith was his coach when he played for the North Carolina Tar Heels in college. All right, so this is his college coach. When he was in some of the, those formative years of his early adulthood. And he said, Coach was always there for me whenever I needed him, and I loved him for it. In teaching me the game of basketball, he taught me about life. So this is all about life mentorship. The reason why Michael Jordan is where he is today, he attributes it to his mentors, his coaches. And just to point it out here, Forbes magazine says that he's making about $80 million a year on his Nike endorsements. He's worth a little, right around $1 billion right now. The guy's doing pretty well for himself financially. And he's done pretty well for himself career-wise as well. I mean, he's done some amazing things in his passions also. So just a really neat example of what mentors can do for us. So we need mentors in every part of our life. Wealth, health, connection, right? Our relationships, and personal power. Like, these are all things that we need to be working on and figuring out. The truth is, most of us are so busy with our day-to-day that the thought of trying to really dig deep and uncover what those limiting beliefs are that are holding us back from building that treehouse faster or whatever it is, right? The thought of that is so tiring that most of us just won't even enter into this space because it's clothed in hard work, right? One of the huge benefits of having a mentor is that they can make that work a little easier. They can add their experience, their vision and foresight, and what they've been able to do and apply that in your life. See, I believe that we have access to true and legitimate shortcuts in life if we will take advantage of them. And these shortcuts aren't dishonest, and they don't have to be, deceiving or anything bad or anything like that. These are shortcuts from people that have been there and done that can now teach me how to accelerate my growth. And I'll tell you, the places in my life where I have seen the most progress are those times where I have hired mentors to help me in different aspects of my life. So, what we're providing here at Limitless is world-class mentorship, breakthroughs, 100% of the time for everything that you need, whatever that looks like. And so I want to talk about a couple different things of what Limitless offers. Number one, live mentorship. Every single week we hold a live mentoring call where people that are part of our Limitless tribe get to join in and learn from people, like I said before, that have been there and done that. You want to learn how to become a millionaire? Learn from a millionaire. You want to learn from someone who, you want to learn how to have a better family life? Learn from someone who's got a great family life. You want to learn more about how to treat your spouse the right way? Learn from someone who's got a really solid and great marriage, right? That's what this is all about. Helping you where you may feel like you need a little bit more assistance and where you'd like to improve in your life. Number two, we've got our Limitless mentoring events. Now I want to spend just a little bit of time on each of these events because these are truly powerful. But before I get into it, Carson, do we have that video? I'm going to go ahead and I want to just introduce this video here real quick. This is the video at one of our main events. And I say main event because this is the event where most people will start. You don't have to start here. You can come to any one of our events, and I'll go back to those in just a minute. But this is our Limitless Breakthrough event. And this event is really where people, oftentimes for the first time in their life, begin to recognize the true power that they have within to create the lives that we want. So let's go ahead and cue that video. Just pause for a moment. Who are you really? I mean, I don't care how strong you are. It doesn't matter how prepared you are. Stop thinking about all the resources that you have. Eventually, opposition is going to find you. What will you do when you hit that wall? Will you stay down or get back up? You get back up. You destroy the wall. You kill it. You own it. You smash it. You break it apart. You show up and you slap that demon in the face. You step up to the very jaws of hell and declare that it has no power over you. You will not stop, you will not quit, you live each day like it's your last. And you're the only one who decides when it's over. So whatever is stopping you from having that perfect body, the perfect marriage, the perfect career, the perfect house, car, family, the perfect confidence, whatever is stopping you from creating your perfect life, it's time to destroy it. It's time to discover who you really are. It's time to discover that you're limitless.
How many of you are here because you want to produce results at a whole new level unlike ever before? How many of you, no, come on, how like that.
Did you just feel that energy? Isn't that so fun?
Can I hear all those of you out there that would love to have awesome rockin' bodies?
We love you, Jake.
Your life changes in 3 days. It is possible.
We were featured on stage as the couple that needed a breakthrough. When I saw that whole audience relating and supporting us, it was most encouraging.
I no longer struggle with depression, and I no longer have to feed into that anxiety.
I'm shocked to see the transformation in my life in 3 days. If you'd met me 6 months ago, you wouldn't recognize me.
There was just something undeniably good and amazing and calming and peaceful about it that I just couldn't deny.
I've been in medicine for over 30 years. I've sent hundreds of couples, individuals to counseling. Nothing has approached the effectiveness in changing lives as what we teach at Limitless.
Oh, super powerful. I wanted to give you a taste of what it is that we actually do. It's hard sometimes to encapsulate into words the transformation that can occur at an event. And believe me, I understand. I get it. I know all of the skepticism that's out there. People that say to themselves, "Yeah, right. I can change my life in 3 days." And I want to be clear. Your life may not look completely different after 3 days, but what you do gain are the proper tools and processes and procedures to change your life permanently. This isn't about rah-rah. This isn't about, although there is absolutely excitement in the room, it's about giving you the proper processes, helping you understand and giving you the tools that you need to create a better life for yourself, to overcome those blocks that you've had. So Limitless is truly an unbelievable event. This is a $499 valued event. We talk about claiming your birthright of prosperity and abundance, unlocking and transforming the power of your body and mind, learning trade secrets to mastering your mind, breaking through some of your biggest blocks, crushing your results. One of the things that I've learned, again, is almost everyone in the world at some point sits down and writes down goals, right? Most of us at one point in our life or some point or other, and most of us even do it repeatedly, we'll sit down and we'll write goals. Oftentimes it only happens during the New Year's time, right? We do our New Year's resolutions. We pull out that pad of paper again and we start jotting down exactly the kind of person that we want to be, recognizing that the year prior didn't quite get us where we wanted to be. So we write down those goals. And for 97% of us, the next year rolls around, we forgot where we put that pad of paper. We get out a new pad of paper and we write down the same goals again, right? Because we haven't gotten there. Well, it's time to break through those blocks that are keeping you where you are. It's time to start achieving those goals that you've always wanted to. And this is what Limitless is all about. Again, this is a 3-day event, unbelievably transformational, valued at $499. Another part of the Limitless family, these are just some testimonies. I'm going to skip past these for now just for sake of time. But another part of this is we've got our Wealth Intensive. And our Wealth Intensive is just tremendous, all about helping you create that financial freedom. This is another 3-day event, also valued at $499. And I will tell you, I know many events that are out there, and there are events where you can spend thousands of dollars to get less information and to learn less and to go through less powerful processes. We value these at $499 because, number one, we want them to be affordable for people. We want that transformation to be affordable for just about everybody. And this is all about, again, creating that financial life that you want. We talk about the top 5 business and money strategies, real estate strategies, mastering the mindset of money. Let me be clear. If you want to create a better result, it really has nothing to do with the job that you're in right now, has nothing to do with what you think is your ability to make money or not. It all has to do with your mindset. So a lot of this wealth intensive that we do is all about creating the wealthy mindset. I talk often about programming. And I want you to think for just a second on this as we're talking about the wealth mindset. I want you to think about old computers, okay? For any of you, if you remember the old, when I was, probably 7 or 8 years old, we were given an old Commodore 64. Do you remember the Commodore 64? Do you remember that? Maybe someone online. This Commodore 64 was one of those old green screen MS-DOS, kind of black and green screen, really old computer, didn't have any processing power. I'm pretty sure that my phone of today was probably like 3,000 of those computers, maybe something like that. And anyway, we would load up these old floppy disks and play little games that you had to load up on this computer. And I want you to think for a second, you know what Photoshop is, right? Photoshop is a really complex, amazing, beautiful program where you can manipulate images and do lots of things. Can you imagine trying to run Photoshop on this old MS-DOS computer? It wouldn't work, would it? It wouldn't work because this new program is trying to run on an old system, right? Well, we do the same thing every day where we try to run. Oh, perfect. There it is, the old Commodore 64. That's awesome. That brings back memories. Yeah, you put your old floppy disk right in there. And, I'll tell you, this was an updated one. Actually, the one that we had was older. At least the screen that we had was older because it was black and green. And anyway, we'd load up these games. But the point is the reason why that Photoshop wouldn't work on here is because the old system isn't even able to run the program. It can't even run it. It won't even speak to the new program, right? They don't even speak the same language. So in our lives, oftentimes we try to do the same thing. We keep on going from program to program to program, although we're operating the same system. We're hoping that the program will help us and change us, but we haven't fixed the system yet. We haven't reprogrammed the system yet. And so one of the things that I love about our Wealth Intensive is we help you to reprogram that financial system, getting rid of, again, a lot of those old, deep-rooted financial beliefs so that you can replace them with new ones and start seeing better and newer results. These are some people that love the Wealth Intensive. Again, I won't belabor it, but it is truly a powerful event. We then have the Mentor Academy. This is all part of what we offer here at Limitless. Also a $499 event. We teach you how to launch your six-figure business, how to productize your message. These are for those individuals that feel like, I've just got this burning desire to bless the world with something that I've got. And I'm an expert in whatever it is that I have. I am a clear and a very firm believer that we are all unique and we all have a very unique and an amazing set of gifts, talents, abilities, and experiences that have gotten us to where we are. I also believe that those unique set of gifts, talents, abilities have value. So many of us devalue ourselves. We don't believe that we're worth it, right? That's one of the biggest limiting beliefs that I hear all the time. I'm just not worth it. Well, we can show you that you are, and we can help you to understand how you can take that value that you bring to the world and productize it and monetize it. And to feel good about doing it. So many people have gifts that they just kind of give away. Oh, it's true value there. Let us show you how to create a thriving business around it, okay? So that's all what this Mentor Academy is about. Now, and here's a lot of people that have loved it. We also then have our on-demand mentoring. This is so amazing. Limitless On Demand is where we have gone around and collected some of the greatest information from some of the most amazing mentors around the world. People like Les Brown, Kevin Harrington, Dan Clark, just to name a few. Individuals, again, that have spent thousands, if not tens of thousands of hours becoming experts in their fields. They then distill that information and give it to us where we can digest it, implement it, and accelerate our growth, right? That's what this is all about, and this is all on demand. We have a whole library full of it. You can see these are just some of our mentors that we have as part of this. Over $250,000 worth of programs, trainings, and information that you can get 24/7 on your computer, on your phone, however you want to access that. It's just tremendous. Oh, you know what? I want to back up real quick. There are a couple other things. Aside from these 3 events that I mentioned, we actually have 2 more that we've just added. I don't even have them updated in the slide yet. We have 2 more events that we've just added that are also 3-day intensive events. The first one is our connection event. It's all about building relationships. Relationships with your children, relationships with your spouse, relationships with your siblings, your parents, whatever. As well as your relationship with yourself. It's hard for us to love others if we don't love ourselves truly. And so we dive deep into, thank you so much, Carson, into the relationships, the connection here. How to become a true power couple. How do you build off of each other's strengths? Oftentimes, we marry an opposite, right? We marry someone who's complete opposite to us. And I know that I did that. I mean, as I talk to people all around the world, they've often done the same thing. And we do that because that person has strengths that we want or that we need. Our instincts tell us we need to be with somebody that has strengths that we don't have. The catch-22 there is that those people also rub us the wrong way, right? Because they're different. And we get to learn how to overcome a lot of those contentions and start to work in sync, start to build upon the strengths that we each bring to the table. That's our connection intensive. We also have our health intensive. This is all about creating the body and the lifestyle that you want, physically speaking. Again, if a third, I think, of the nation, 34-point-something% is obese. Well, if that's the case, then why? What are we doing that's wrong? Is it just the food that we're putting in our mouth? Or are there some limiting beliefs behind that we can investigate? And once we've removed those, can we start to have the physique, the bodies, the health, the vitality that we want, right? So this is what all this is about, shedding that fat suit and gaining that life, physically speaking, that we truly want. Here's the other thing that I've recognized, is that when we are healthy physically, it's a lot easier to be healthy up here. It's a lot easier to be healthy spiritually speaking and in every other aspect of our life. So this health intensive is all about how we start and jumpstart that process in our health. So, all of these events are $499 individually. But we've done something to try to really bring more value to the table here. What we've understood is that there are a lot of people that may not even have that $499, or if you add it all up, that's 500 times 5. That's $2,500 for if you wanted to attend every single one of our events, correct? $2,500. So what we're doing here is we're trying to make it really easy. I've got 2 different options. Option number 1. If you join the Limitless Mentoring Network, if you join Limitless, our tribe, it's only $99 a month. Now, I want to explain what that means. That means because you're part of our tribe and you're paying that $99 a month, you get access to every single one of those $500 events. That's almost free. I mean, I don't know if I can give it away for anything cheaper than that. $99 a month gives you access to all of that. It also gives you access to the weekly live mentorship calls as well as the on-demand mentoring, the $250,000 worth of mentoring. Why are we willing to give away hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of value for $99 a month? Well, the reality is we know that the biggest majority of people that need this the most are often those that think that they can't afford it. Are often those that say, I don't have the $50,000 to go spend on a mentor right now, but I could make $99 work. If you want different results, I want you to imagine to yourself that starting this year, you could begin to see changes and results different than you've ever experienced before. Imagine what that would look like. How would that feel for you? What if Limitless could be that starting point for you? What if joining our tribe and starting to work with and network with individuals that all are looking and going for the same exact thing, that are all about personal breakthrough and growth? Would that help you achieve your goal? If that could help you, would that be worth the $99 a month for you? By the way, which is cancelable anytime. Absolutely. So my invitation to you is, number 1, get started with us. Pay the $99 a month, invest in yourself, maybe for the first time that you ever have, and pay that $99 per month. Option number 2 is for those of you that want to get paid as you're growing. So I know that all the time we have people coming through the doors that invite and bring all their friends with them, and they want to have this amazing experience at one of our events. And when they do, and they bring all those people with them to those events, we pay them a little referral fee. When you come in and you pay that $4.99, not only do you get all of that what we talked about up front, but you also get to maximize some commissions that we send out to you. In other words, you bring people to us. If you're changing your life, are you going to share it with people? Obviously you are, right? When you're changing, when your life is being changed for the better and you're experiencing unbelievable breakthrough and growth, you're going to want to share it with everyone that you know. When you do, we're going to send you a little thank you check. Now, let me just ask this question. If I sent you a thank you check, whether it was $26 or several $1,000s, would you send it back to me? Probably not, right? Hopefully you're going to keep it, cash it, and have fun and create more wealth in your life, right? So we do that. We send those thank you checks. We also allow you an opportunity to get it for free. This is something that we're so passionate about, helping you to understand how you can get free mentoring. So when you invite 3 people to become part of this and become part of the tribe, paying that $99 per month, your membership goes away. You also earn $26 a month with each subscription, which is powerful. And we have a lot of other programs and products that can help you earn really powerful residual income and massive, massive overrides. So one of the things that you get when you pay that $500 and that option 2 is a free, I shouldn't say free because it's huge value. You get at no more cost to you, you get a business coach. Someone to actually help you start growing and building your business and help teach you the proper methods that are so many others right now, hundreds others and thousands others are seeing success with. So again, just to talk about it, we've got option number 1, which is come in and invest in yourself. Invest $99 per month. Learn what it is that we're doing. Become part of the tribe. Plug in. Get on the weekly calls. Start the on-demand mentoring. Do whatever that you need to do to plug in, but plug in a really big way to start changing your life. In addition to that, come to our events. And by the way, whether you're here in Utah, which is where our corporate offices are, or you're anywhere around the world, you can actually participate. Every single one of the events that I just mentioned are also streamed live. So when you're paying that $99 a month, you get access to unbelievable value in every single one of those events that we talked about. Our Limitless Breakthrough event, our Limitless Wealth Intensive, our Limitless Mentor Academy, our Limitless Connection Intensive, and our Limitless Health Intensive. Every one of those 5 events you get access to via live stream, or anytime you want to fly in and come in person and be there with us, you're always invited and you get to come to any one of those events as part of that $99 per month mentorship or membership. And of course you get the weekly calls as well as the on-demand mentoring. So with that, I just want to close. Whatever it is that you're trying to create in life, you can. You really can. No matter what you have believed or seen in the past, you can do things better and differently. Make limitless your next step. Invest in yourself. For some of you, this may be the first time that you've ever actually chosen to truly invest in yourself. And I can promise you that the dividends, the returns, are multiple fold, or I don't know, tenfold what you will see. Start investing yourself in $99 per month and just see what we can help you do here at Limitless. With that, I want to say thank you very much for your time and have a fantastic evening. Bye-bye.
Keep playing, boy. Walking around like you're some kind of star. Yeah. You're talking sweet, pulling strings, but I know there's always something up your sleeve. So I won't listen to a word you speak anymore. Oh no, 'cause you own